Hi, I'm Marla Kaplowitz, CEO of the 4A's, and welcome back to another conversation of Convene.Challenge.Change with the Drum. Today, I have with me Kate Cronin, Chief Brand Officer of Moderna, and Emily Wilcox, CEO of TBWA Chiat, New York. And today we're going to talk about Moderna and TBWA and how they've been really changing and upping the game on healthcare advertising and how it connects to consumers. Moderna really respects anyone helping to change the world. It's all about moving humanity forward. And the TBWA Health Collective focuses on the belief that they're not in the business of healthcare, but really in the business of health creation, which is really about helping people make smarter, more informed choices about their health. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation today. And I'd like to start with Kate and just tell us a little bit more about the work you're leading at Moderna, especially with your campaign on Welcome to the mRNA Age, and as you've managed to take really cutting-edge science and break it down to a real human level to understand its importance and help everyone on the planet.
Well, thank you for having me. My role at Moderna is to lead all brand efforts, and part of that is to educate consumers about what is mRNA. And the reason is because everyone knows about the COVID vaccine, and most people know whether they got a Moderna shot, but they don't necessarily understand how mRNA works. And why does that matter? It matters because we're a mRNA technology platform company. And so all of our products are based on mRNA, our future cancer products, our future vaccines, our RSV vaccine and our COVID vaccine. And so making the science accessible is what is important to us. And we believe the consumers do care about what they put in their body. And we respect that, and we want to make the science accessible. So Welcome to the mRNA Age was really about making mRNA, understanding the science acceptable to consumers, and bringing it in a way that is creative and creates excitement and energy around the science and excitement around the possibilities. And so we work with TBWA on this campaign, and I'm really excited about the work and where we're going to go in the future as well.
I like that about the excitement about the possibilities, because that just leaves open so much opportunity for creativity. And Emily, I'd really like to talk about how that work really led to the amazing award-winning Arthur Ashe versus idea.
Yeah, hi, Marla. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, Kate said it so well. The organization is a very purposeful one. Moderna is, right? They're really about advancing humanity. And we have this platform idea. This changes everything, because it really is what they're doing with mRNA as the backbone of everything that they're developing. And so they had a sponsorship with the US Open. And the question for us became, how do we really leverage that moment to further tell the story about this organization, what they're doing and what they're bringing to helping consumers live their healthiest life? And what we discovered was this amazing icon that is Arthur Ashe, the first Black man to win the US Open, somebody who really advocated for disease awareness and health equity and social justice. His story had never really been told and sponsored and brought to life by a brand before. And so when you think about Moderna as an organization and the products and the support that they're bringing to consumers around the world, and then you think about him and his contributions to moving humanity forward, it felt like such a natural story for us to tell. And it was one that we were really proud to be a part of, really elevating to the place that it should be, which is one of pronounced awareness and sort of appreciation for what this figure really brought to society, to health. And so it just felt like a natural sort of marriage for us to tell his story through the partnership with US Open.
Yeah, and it was so beautifully told, and it really just resonated. Clearly, it won a lot of awards, which that's not the most important thing, but it generally is based on results and impact. And clearly you were able to deliver on that. And I think that's just so incredible. And I'd really like to understand, you talk about technology, and that's so core to not only what you're doing in campaigns, but the way you're working with your teams. And right now we're in this age of AI, not just from an automation standpoint, but with Gen AI. And I'm really interested in hearing, how are you using AI within your respective companies and teams to really enhance the work? And I'll start with Kate first.
Sure. So AI is super important to the work that we're doing. We are a nimble, lean organization. We're a very flat organization. And our CEO is a big believer in AI. And so we've adopted it for the past over 18 months And we have a partnership with OpenAI, and I use ChatGPTs all the time. In fact, I go on ChatGPT more than I do on Google. And so we use it as a brainstorm partner within the brand team. We use it as focus groups. So we've created personas and use it to test ideas. And obviously it can't replace a real focus group, but it comes close in terms of directionally ideas and validating ideas. Our legal team uses it for contracts, so streamlining contracts. We've created a reg bot, so our regulatory team can use it to actually streamline the regulatory process, because we all know things can get slowed down in the system. And overall, we use AI to help create the vaccine in terms of decoding the mutations of the virus. So I think overall we are all in on AI. And our employees use it regularly. And we've got more than 750 ChatGPTs that have been created by employees of Moderna. So we continue to elevate it and continue to test it and do more. And working with OpenAI, we're doing some things that even they didn't know were things we could do. So it's been embedded in our DNA, if you will, no pun intended.
No, that's so impressive, especially the part about leveraging it to actually create the vaccine and understand the science behind it. That's terrific. And I am so appreciative when I hear about 750 different GPTs and the way people are embracing it. I think that's fantastic. How are you using it, Emily?
Yeah, well, we're not, I can't claim credit for developing world-changing vaccines through AI, but I think traditionally the way that AI has been spoken about a lot, particularly in the context of advertising agencies, is like an efficiency tool. And I really think like that's a bit of a limiter. Yes, we use it for things like cutting through reams of data and research and intel about different consumer segments so that we can find the identifying themes across segments based on what it is we're trying to solve from a business standpoint. But it also becomes really helpful in terms of synthetic audience creation, because there are very specific types of audiences that we're looking to attract and compel to action and perception shift on behalf of our client brands. And to be able to create those synthetic audiences, put stimulus in front of them, ask questions of those synthetic audiences to potentially perceive and anticipate how they would respond to different inputs has been really helpful for us in developing our ideas along the way. And then, of course, it's also helpful in dimensionalizing concepts. So, the traditional notion of sort of putting together like the still frames with the words and the language around an ad or a concept, this can actually help us bring it to life in quicker ways that are more dimensionalized, that when we get into a consumer learning opportunity, we have stimulus that is a bit more robust than perhaps it could have been, a couple of years ago. So we're using it in a bunch of different ways. I think the one thing that we also do that is really exciting for us is we have a tool called Collective AI that we fed with 50 years of disruption. So it's all of our sort of core defining disruptive platforms. And so then when you're going and you're asking questions or bouncing thoughts off, or creative teams are using it to bounce a concept or build a concept off of, it is responding in a way that only the TBWA collective bot could, right? Because the challenge with AI is it's an aggregate of averages. But what we use with our collective AIs, it's an aggregate of disruption. And so at its core, at its very nucleus of what it is, the way it is thinking about ideas and the way it's thinking about creativity is starting from a foundation of disruptive thinking. So it's been really helpful to us as a bit of a sparring partner sometimes in our creative development.
Yeah, it's so smart that you have your own disruptive LLM, essentially your own data that you've captured at an enterprise level. I think that also gives people a lot more confidence in the data outputs that you're deriving. I want to go back to the campaigns that you both develop, and tell me some of the key takeaways that other brands and agency leaders can learn from your experience. And I'll start with Kate first.
So I've spent my career on the agency side. And when I joined Moderna over 3 years ago, I joined because I knew this company was a bold thinker. And I think bold thinking is needed to break through. I mean, how do you get some of the real estate in people's minds, hearts and minds? How do you win them over? And a lot of that is standing out. And what does that look like? So I worked very closely with the TBWA team, and we partnered very closely on these campaigns because we wanted to show up differently. We wanted to show up not as a pharma company, we were a health tech company. And we're a platform company. So similar as Apple has an iOS system, we have an mRNA system. And everything is built off of our mRNA platform. And so when you are a different kind of a company, the creative, the look and feel should show up differently. And so that was a key learning in terms of educating and bringing along the team, the TBWA team, in terms of what do we need to be successful. And I think being bold, not being afraid of taking on a new challenge and differentiate was key. And I remember on the agency side, I would present an idea and the client would say, has this ever been done before? And I would say, no, this is a new idea, bespoke for you. And they would say, no, thank you. We don't want to be the first. And the beauty of Moderna is, when I get asked the question, has this been done before? And the answer is no, they say, well, that's great. We want to be the first. And so understanding the client, understanding the needs of the company is super important, and how we're different. And that's even me understanding Moderna. Like, I now know when I joined, they want to be bold, they want to be different, and they want to take on new challenges in exciting ways. So I think for me, that was, again, a big reason for why I joined, but also it's infused in all of our creative work as well.
Yeah, I think that's so refreshing for agency partners too. And Emily, I'd like to hear how it is from your perspective too.
Yeah, so Kate deserves a world of credit. I really, for how she partners and thinks about agencies, and maybe that's because she comes from one. My suspicion is she's just leads that way anyway as a leader in terms of team orientation, even if she didn't have that agency background. But she has been a real leader in bringing us upstream and in to the business, and in a way that I think is incredibly valuable and really hard to do our jobs well without on any given day. I think in a category like this, and with the complexity of the science behind it and the job to be done to translate a lot of information and a lot of heady things into real approachable, humanity-driven concepts and storytelling, you could never do that without the upstream access and true partnership that Kate displays from day one. So she really treats the agency as a partner. And I think, that's true, a true requirement for great work, period. It's even more so needed in this category, I think. And the other thing I would just say is, I think you can get overwhelmed at times, particularly in the healthcare space, with information overload. And then you start to think your job is just to inform. But the truth is, it's really hard to inform without first inspiring. And I think Kate is always dead simple and dead set on making sure that there's human storytelling and insight at the core of everything that we're doing. And she holds her and her team and us as accountable as we would hold ourselves naturally to that as great creative storytellers. So it's been a really great partnership.
That's terrific. So I heard be bold, make sure that you not just inform, but you really inspire. And I think it's so clear that it's the two of you and your teams and the way you work together, but getting to the core of what Moderna is all about. So I just want to thank you both for sharing this. And I think it's also really beneficial for people to understand what those opportunities are with their partnership. So thank you again.
Thank you, Marla.
Marla.
And pleasure.